Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Grubbly. Today I wanted to just do a quick video going over a build idea I had for the Gauntlet. This is for a Servant of Arakaali in the endgame running Holy Relic of Conviction. The Ascendancy offers a lot for minions and poisoning and everything, so it has a lot of good synergy. I just don't think I'm personally going to be able to run this, but I figure share the quick idea. Somebody wants to take it and run with it. I did, kind of a half job POB just to put in the basics of what would go into it. Not at all optimized, certainly not a great tree because I'm not that great at building them, but essentially trying to do what I can to follow Baylor Mage's Holy Relic of Conviction and then adjust it in here. So just wanted to quickly run over this. If someone else can take this through Gauntlet all the way through the campaign and then set it up, more power to them. I will not be able to. I don't have that skill level, but somebody might just find it interesting. So anyway, we would start out as Shadow, and I imagine that Cobra Lash would be a really good leveling skill. And then at whatever point, I guess presumably Lab 1, if you can, grab Holy Relic of Conviction. It depends how much you want to farm, basically. So what I'm pausing about is just thinking about how would we go over this. I'll say let's just talk about the Ascendancy first. So first of all, at level 1, I figure you would take the Envy Aura, because this grants something like 100 flat chaos damage, which is really good for you using your own poisoning skills, and then also if you do run Holy Relics early, then certainly your minions running that, it'll allow a lot of chaos damage. The alternative is, well, this is only if you run Holy Relics. This might be worth it for the Holy Relics on level 1, but I imagine just the flat damage, both for you and for them, is going to be better. Then for second lab, what we would do we would take the Skin Crawler's notable, Ascendancy notable, and that's going to give a big chance to poison, which combined with chance to poison support on the gem, they are going to poison every time with their hits. So it should be pretty easy to stack up to high, if not full stacks of poison. All the small nodes give increased chaos damage and minions dealing more damage, so that's nice. If you can take it all the way to the end of the campaign, then that's where we would pick up the aspect of the spider for free reservation, and that is the spider webs apply a increased damage taken to the enemy, and it also slows their movement speed. So the hinder could be useful on our on our play in Gauntlet, because there's going to be so many extra mods for damage and things like that. And this is the level 30 version, which is what they call here on the wiki level 2, which can have a maximum of 4 webs. So for a mob that stays around living long enough that is within your range for that, they're going to be taking 20% more damage. So that is a nice DPS boost, especially on like single target that's likely going to be living long enough. That's for aspect of the spider. So we get that for free from the Ascendancy. And then if you can take it all the way into maps and make it to the 4th lab, then this is where you would want to pick up Silk Dancer, because Holy Relic, the minus to all reses applies to chaos damage. Most mobs have 0% chaos res at base. Some bosses have some chaos res, but general mobs don't. So this is effectively a 15% damage multiplier. And then as well, they deal 15% reduced damage. So that is going to be really helpful for our tankiness, which is great in Gauntlet. So the other options, like the penance mark over here, causing enemies around them, doesn't help our build. They're fine on single target just with the Holy Relic spamming it. This node for Fizz's Extra while at max power charges. This doesn't matter because we're not trying to crit, as we're not the ones going to be dealing the damage once we switch over to Holy Relic. Early on, there could be some tech with that, or just if using Cobra Lash build, but for Holy Relic, not so much. And on this side, triggering the raised spiders, they give increased attack and damage with poison, which again we're not doing the damage ourselves. It's about the holy relics, although we will be attacking just for some sustain. But since this only seems to apply to us, not to the holy relics, and I don't think attack speed helps their trigger rate, it's not a helpful node. This over here, it might. I'm not sure about like how the holy relics work with critting, but of course, you know, crit per withered debuff, and we're going to be stacking withered on them pretty high. Yeah, I mean, I imagine that's going to be strong. It might be worth dropping the envy. I don't know how to calculate damage for holy relic in PoB. I know it's complicated. Baylor Mage himself says like you can't get it to do it right. This is talking about unreserved mana. Okay. We'll talk about that in a second. So anyway, that's the concept of the build. I figure, you know, like use Cobra Lash with regular, you know, chaos damage up until first or second lab, and then at whichever one of them, then you have to start farming lab. For this build, there are, I believe, 3 gems I was looking at for that you have to farm for, or maybe it's just 2. You need to farm Holy Relic of Conviction, so you need that alt gem, obviously, because that's the main skill. And then Lancing Steel of Spraying, if you're familiar with Baylor Mage's setup of this build, that's what we're doing. So it's the same thing, spraying lots of hits for lots of life sustain. Although, as the end game version of this, I'm not actually going for life on hit because this is going to be a CI build. So we're going to be getting energy shield on hit. The way we're going to be doing that is this boot, and this is part of why the build doesn't really work. So it doesn't work optimally until the end game. These boots are only available once you get to maps, as far as I understand. There might be a way to farm the spider in the campaign. I haven't looked, but it's high level. So anyway, this drops from Venomous the spider, and you have to summon him by engaging in the beast mechanic. And the benefit of these boots is, number one, you get longer webs, the 45% increased duration on the debuff. Number two, the biggest thing, well, actually, sorry, 2 things. It does allow you to inflict an additional spider web, which means 5% more damage taken to them. So you go from 20% more to 25% more. So that's nice for DPS, especially if someone's taking this to end build, probably they're trying to go for bosses. And the Ubers have like a lot of extra damage reduction, so extra damage taken on them is nice. And then in addition to that, they gain 18 energy shield for each enemy you hit. That is the way for a CI build that you could play the usual Lancing Steel of Spraying, but with CI focusing energy shield and not having to worry about chaos res. So ironically, like it has chaos res on here for this build. I figure like, you know, if you can avoid chaos damage completely, that's ideal. Don't have to worry about bleed. So I thought that was cool. That's the first time I noticed that mod. And with Lancing Steel of Spraying, you could do some great sustain there. I just throw on a random pair of rare gloves just to put some energy shield to try and do it. But again, like I didn't actually put a character together, so it says 2367, and my tree is also probably trash. So one big question here is like, will it be able to get enough energy shield and other defensives to work well? I'm not sure. I'm not great at making builds, but it's just an idea for people to build from. With Holy Relic, you do need Diala's Malefaction, and that is to get quality for the Holy Relic and some of the other gems or just the levels on them. You can farm Diala's. You just have to get to maps and run Harbinger for, I think it's Ancient Orbs, allow you to roll an item into a unique, potentially. Let me pull that up real quick. So yeah, Ancient Orbs, you can reforge a unique item to another of the same class. So let's check real quick. I know there's a way that you can, for instance, farm Ephemeral Edge. So I don't know if it's just because I think Diala's might have been the only one that had. I know it was like target farmable. But I was thinking about rolling the rare into that. So if you look at Sage Robe, oh yes, you can. So this unique chest is very common. So you have to just drop one of these. How do you say that even? Zondathus's cassock. You do this after you've farmed Harbinger. You use an Ancient Orb to re-roll it into a Diala's. Simple as that, because there's only 2 options for the unique chest. Okay, so that's how we target farm it. And then the same thing actually while we're here. Same thing for Joffrey's Crest. That's the helm that gives +1 to... you know what, actually this one might be more complicated. You might have to drop a Joffrey's Crest like raw. Otherwise you're missing a +50% damage, because the Forbidden Shako is not... you'd have to like farm this one, which, where do we get this one? I don't even remember. It can't be chanced. You get it from Oshabi. So you have to farm a seed in order to get this, and then use an Ancient Orb on this to roll it into the Joffrey's Crest. But Light Poacher is the only other option. Like Replica isn't, you're not going to roll it into that. So Light Poacher you get from, where do we get it? I was just looking at it. It can't be chanced. Again, it's from Anomaly, so I believe this is farming Abyss. So you'd have to farm Abyss and get one of these guys and get it to drop that, and then you could re-roll it into Joffrey's. So that part would be hard. The Diala's is easy. The 50% extra damage from the Joffrey's Crest, and it's got some good res on it. Some armor, a little bit of energy shield. It's the ideal helm, but it is target farmable, but with more effort. So those are really the only uniques that would make this build like function fully. As far as the skills go, I was just looking at, shield charge for movement, flame dash, aspect of the spider, envy, as we said, lancing steel of spraying for sustain. Holy Relic is our main skill. I believe these are the supports used when Baylor Mage builds it. I'm not completely sure. I don't remember. But again, like if you actually try building it, just reference his if you need to. As a side note, with 20, I didn't actually put the 20 quality on it in the POB, but you need 20 quality on Holy Relic itself, 30 quality from Diala's, and then just 8% of the, I think it's 20% quality from an Enhance. So you only need Enhance level 2. Wait, why is this Awaken Enhance? This should just be regular Enhance, but whatever. You get the gist. This one, no, +16 you don't need. You just need level that. You only need 8 because I think it's 52. It's either 52 or 58 is the breakpoint for the next trigger number for Holy Relic. If you're not familiar with that whole thing, again, just reference Baylor Mage's videos on it. And just those 3. So you do have to farm. That's the third thing from lab. You do have to farm to get an Enhance in order to get that extra breakpoint. Because again, Gauntlet is hardcore SSF. And people will be farming third lab anyways, because that's going to be a safe zone. If you look at the modifiers, it has like some of the tamest modifiers along the way at the high level. And it's like that's when you get past the chaos, Fizz's added extra chaos damage. So lab 3 is where a lot of people are planning to farm, and it'll be a good chance to try and get, quality on your gems, pick up extra, pick up any trans gems you need, aim for the Enhance. That's how you could do that there. But then I was just looking at, Discipline because we're CI, so we want the extra ES. Herald of Purity because the extra minions, if you let them, like when they get killed off, that can heal your Holy Relics from the tree. Flesh and Stone just for some defenses. I put Haste just for more attack speed with the Lancing Steel Spraying for more sustain. It says here, don't have enough mana reservation, so probably just have to drop that. I think that's it on the skills. So just my general concept for the tree. Again, I won't be surprised if this is just a terrible tree. This is what you would swap to later on. This is not leveling for Cobra Lash. So just essentially pathing to ES and damage nodes, a tiny bit of defenses. So here, This one's got some damage and just some raw stats. I figure we might need some dex intelligence. The extra intelligence, I believe, gives either mana or maybe some ES. I couldn't remember off the top of my head. I don't have the game pulled up, but see, like here it doesn't say. But it kept saying like if you take more intelligence, you get ES. Could be completely wrong on that. But then I did path all the way down here. This one gives mana cost on attacks when we go for our reservation, so that is helpful. It also gives some mana on hit, and I do remember Baylor Mage mentioning that you need mana on hit if you want to be able to bypass no leech. Then I, of course, went over here for Inveterate for some spell suppress, and then Jewel Node, because I know you're going to want to farm jewels and roll them for what is it, minus all res on enemy, because again, same concept, they have 0 or a low amount of chaos res, and the more you can minus their chaos res, which you can only do with those jewels that have the minus all res, since it's not elemental, you're going to want some jewels. So we took a jewel there, went over here for ES, and then I figure this mastery will be useful if you can get the evasion on the rings. Probably going to need energy shield on the rings as well, but if you can get evasion, that would be ideal, because then you can get a free 20% increased ES. Usual over here, suppress and lucky. With the lucky, currently it just shows 85. Over here for some ES, and the mastery for extra ES from the helm, which it's a low helm, but you take what you gotta. Over here, non-curse aura effect, reservation, and extra effect. And on another one, I do take the increased aura effect on you, because Herald of Purity is also going to give, I do believe, it will also give physical damage to your minions, to your holy relics. I could be wrong, because it doesn't have the AoE tag, so it might not just be. This only lets you deal the fizz. So it's still helpful to have the sentinels pop up when you're hitting a mob, and they're extra aggro drawing. So that's useful in Gauntlet, but that's another option to drop if you need to. You could put, the support for extra little specters or whatever. Not specters, the wrong term, but like the little minions that pop up when you hit something. You could put that on Lancing Steel to get a lot of weak minions to die to keep your holy relics up. So then CI, like I said. Also, I'm not sure if increased aura effect applies to flesh and stone. I think it's a fixed 19%. Anyway, taking again some extra int, because as I mentioned, I believe, let's just check the wiki real quick. Could be some points freed up if that is not the case. But intelligence. Yep, every 5 intelligence grants 1% increased max ES. So having extra int is a good thing for the energy shield. So taking those, and then the 5 int per mastery. Over here, going for minion offense for move speed, they get a chance at onslaught, attack speed, and increased AoE. Just to sock it over here for another jewel. I took both sides over here for minion life and damage, and then honestly can drop that. Oh wait, no, I wanted the Unholy Might. I'll look and see if there's another place to put it, but again, not worried about true efficiency on the tree. Then we've got over here, went for the shield mastery. We'll have a shield, extra ES from the shield. Probably want to take the block if you can for some spell block, and block chance and extra ES from the shield. Over here, extra ES and less damage taken while on full ES, which should be very easy to sustain ES at this point in the build, because you're spraying with Lancing Steel and getting the ES on hit from the boots. And down here, path over to the minion mastery, take extra effective offerings. I forgot to put an offering in there, but you choose whichever is the relevant offering. Increased attack speed from minions also applies to us, so it's easier to hit cap with your rate of attacking with Lancing Steel. More defenses for the minions. Minions recover 5% life on death. on minion death, that's, again, we're sacrificing the weaker minions to keep our DPS minions up. And then I just went down here for, like extra attack and cast speed, minion damage, and some raw stats. Again, over here, like accuracy, I thought about like going down over here to take Resolute Technique, but then I was like, you know what? That's a lot of points. 92 is already unrealistic for most people in Gauntlet. And then, so getting some accuracy here will be helpful. Although with Lancing Steel, you're doing so many hits, you're probably going to hit. And then, again, just this one, extra ES, regen, which I think I took Zealot's Oath. I might have forgotten to, actually. Life regen applies to ES instead. I should do that. Presumably someone's going to want that. So the regen helps there, and just some stats. And then on this side, we've got over here again, Aura Effect, which and efficiency, actually. It's just the reservation efficiency is really good. And this is where I put the mastery for the increased effect on you. If those aren't as helpful, could drop those, of course. Over here, figure reduce damage from critical strikes and extra ES from these nodes. I figure you're probably going to want to get endurance charges. I actually really should have like Enduring Cry in the skills list just to use that for endurance charges for defense, but +1 max over here, and another jewel socket. And then finally, some life nodes and minion damage. And again, the regen is also for RES with Zealot's Oath. And then the minion damage and attack speed, and minion damage and attack speed, that affects us as well. So it helps with the Lancing Steel, which again, big sustain. Anyway, that's the build. As it's set up in this POB, it's a trash build. I think the concept works really well. I did not look at PoE Ninja to see if anybody did this during Freesia League, but I imagine certainly it could work, especially if you don't have to worry about all the extra deadliness from Gauntlet. Anywho, I'm going to head over and start practicing for Gauntlet. I do stream on Twitch and would love to see you guys come and say hi. Dr_Grubbly on Twitch. And yeah, hope to see you there. Thanks for watching.